The aim of society is to drive you crazy. How's it doing? It's making progress, isn't it? The reason society, which I'll define in a minute, the reason society wants to drive you crazy is because it can then control you and do whatever it wants with you for its own insane rewards. Well, we'd better find out who we're talking about when we talk about society. Oh, what an easy question that is. We're talking about every human being on earth who does not love what is decent. We're talking about everyone who has rejected the opportunity he has as a human being on earth to become more than a physical object running around trying to grab things at the expense of others. You have a possibility, not a certainty. You have a possibility of not being your own miserable, wretched self anymore. Now, if you're fighting that, you've already put yourself on the side of society, and you are the enemy of everyone else, and everyone else is your enemy, and you're stuck with it. And you're a sad, defeated, egotistical nothing. When you could have been and understood what it means to be something, not in your own eyes, but in the eyes of reality and of the spiritual vision. You have a chance, I'm telling you this morning, you have a chance if you will listen to what's being said instead of listening and then twisting it according to your own habits and your own fears and your own greedy grabbings. You have no chance unless you learn how to listen. So you have to learn how to listen. And you don't even want that, because you're afraid it's going to take you away from you, and you have no you at all. All you have is a pack of delusions that you think constitutes your personality and identity. It has become so bad in this world. It has even become called, you're even called a criminal if you point out the criminality of the masses of humans who want to destroy individuality. It has become a crime to point out a crime. And that could take a couple hours talk in itself. You think about it afterward, what that means. It has become a crime to point out a crime. You just think where you can't express yourself publicly on how you really feel about something because you're afraid that not only the law but human delusory opinion will smack you if you say what you honestly feel about something. Let's pause in this horror story to think of a nice little wish that we can have in order to free ourselves from the imprisoning world that we've been talking about, which is simply ask God to show you how not to need this society anymore. You now need it falsely because you have a false need and you think that you must mingle with it, you must get something from it, you must be friendly with the fiends, and you do that and you know not what you're doing, and so you would better start having a little different kind of a wish or a prayer. God, help me not to need this world anymore. Now, that alone you think about after this afternoon. You need this world because you have false needs inside yourself, and you're so afraid that you're going to lose your friends. For heaven's sake, lose your friends now. Don't even wait until after the meeting. Do it now. They're not your friends. What they are is a band of bandits, of outlaws who have agreed to go to hell together. No, not go, remain. You know, it's so amazing. I want you to be amazed by it so you can see through it. It's so amazing that a human being living in hell doesn't know it. You are living in hell, and you don't know it. Who do you hate? Or do you have your plans for changing this world? Your plans for making things better? What are your plans for making yourself happy? They're delusory, and the cause of your agony, the cause of your hell. Oh, no, nobody wants to face that fact that their whole day is nothing but a growling, but a fierce hostility. You touch them in one tender spot where they're hiding their hostility, and they hate you, they jump out at you. Now, pay close attention to what you're going to hear next, because your assignment for the whole next week is for you to know by personal observation what I'm going to tell you about here in this room right now. And I'm talking about the arrogance of all lost souls. That is practically everyone on earth. The arrogance, the insolence of all lost people. Oh, well, I have to pause here. Are you lost or are you found? Are you a lost soul or are you a found soul? Don't evade I know you'll want to evade the question because you're afraid of what the answer is, and I'll make it easy for you by telling you that you're a lost soul. You don't even understand. You're so lost you don't even know what it means to be lost. To be found, you'd have to know what it means to be lost, and you don't want that. You want to wander out. You're so sick. You want to wander out here and go back to you. Why do you think Christ used that phrase, they're going to die in their sins? You know why he used it? Because it's the tragedy of the majority of human beings on earth. They're going to leave this earth as they lived it, in hell. Therefore, their spirit has no place to go. Oh, why do you also think Christ said, I go to prepare a place for you? Of course, he understood that he has to talk in time terms to human beings whose minds work in time. He also said, and all spiritual teachings say, heaven is here or now, or hell is here or now. Which are you living in? If you have objected, which you have, unknowingly, to what you've heard already, you live in agony. The chance you have is to listen to the talk this morning. Know that you have been described perfectly, accurately. Know that this is your state, and then decide that you're going to cast off the self-tormentor who has entered you and taken over your life and speaks for you and feels for you and acts for you, and finally becomes your executioner. You don't have to lose your physical body to be executed. The process goes on every hour, every minute, that you, in your stubbornness and your conceit and your pride and your infantile attitudes, the execution goes on moment by moment. You are living under a sense of doom. You can't cover that up, can you? You can't cover up the sense of doom you have. Impossible, and that's what drives you crazy, crazier. You've got your mad parties, and you've got your financial investments, and you've got your families, and you've got your sex life, and you've got your daydreams. You've got all those to try to cover up the fact that you feel doomed. You're not going to succeed. The only way you're ever going to get rid of the feeling of desolation and loneliness and isolation that you have is to honestly know that it's there and never lift one finger to cover it up again. So that the execution occurs to your sick self instead of to your opportunity for having a soul. You don't have a soul now. I have to use the word, but you don't really have one. You don't have a spirit at all. All you have is a drugged mind. And I see it in the way you walk around the room, because it expresses itself in your body. The way you walk, the expression on your face, everything. I can look at any of you and tell you all about you. I don't even have to look at you to tell you all about yourself. Aren't you glad at what you just heard? Someone knows all about you. Someone knows all about your lies, therefore the lies can be explained to you and you can be free of them, and then you won't be punished by your own lying nature anymore. Aren't you glad? No, you're not. You have surrendered yourself too completely to love the truth when you hear that you can be saved from yourself. Now, there's still a chance. The chance comes right now while I'm talking to you, and it especially comes when the meeting is over, because you'll make a final decision when the meeting is over whether you want to remain under a feeling of doom or whether you really want to get rid of it. You have it! Well, let's have a self-honesty test before I go on. The only answers you can give to my question is yes or no. And already, me telling you that, you have evaded. I know you. You don't know how well I know you. The only answer you can give, you're allowed to give to the question is yes or no. The question is yes or no only, yes or no only. And you must answer the question. Don't evade it. I said yes or no, and you must answer. Question is, do you actually have hidden inside of you, concealed inside of you, a feeling of doom with all the characteristics that go with it, including rage and fear and anguish and confusion? I've generalized the word feeling of doom to make it simpler to understand. I'm going to try it again, and you're not to try to escape. Do you have inside of you, each of you as an individual listening to this talk, do you have inside of you a concealed feeling of doom? Yes or no? If you say you don't have one, you just lied, and that's why you're going to keep your doom. If you evaded the question, if you didn't want to answer, if you know more than the teacher who's giving you this test, if you know more than me, if you evaded that, then the answer is a lie, because you do have it. Please, will you all please set your incredible stupidity aside for a moment? Set it aside, your stupidity, and see that what you were just told is healthy, is good for you, not for the you that you now live with. That is bad for you. I'm talking about the real you. I'm talking about you having a unique nature, a new nature, a nature that makes you a pleasant human being instead of an obnoxious one, which you now are. Well, of course you're obnoxious. That's a mild way to describe a sinful, evil state. To say the devil being obnoxious, that's too mild, isn't it? It's far worse than that. It is hell, it is torment, it is sickness beyond description. All right, I'm not going to let you get away. Truth corners you in order to get you out of the corner. Allow yourself to be cornered so that truth can lift you up out of it. You put yourself in a corner to protect yourself, you're going to stay there and suffer from it. The question was, and I will slightly rephrase it because I know that how tricky your minds are. If I say doom, I don't know, doom, what's doom? I see that in a horror movie where someone is doomed and thrown down into hell. I don't have that. Oh, we have to simplify what we mean by doom then. Do you have unexpected and sudden fury arise in you? Did it happen this morning, for example? Do you have so much fear and trembling inside of you that you don't want to hear the rest of this talk? If so, you're doomed. Pushing away. What kind of a human being who's sick would push away the healthy medicine? I'll tell you what kind. And you might as well face this. The kind of human being who pushes away health is an absolutely hopeless human being, and he is dangerous, and I don't want you to have anything to do with him. You may have to shop at his store. You may have to fix your tire in your car. You may have to repair something around the house. That kind of association we're not concerned with. If you're awake, you'll know that everybody you meet is mad. If you are sane, you will know that everybody you meet is mad. If you're insane, you will project your own, you'll say that, if you're insane, you'll say, I'm sane, you'll think that he's sane, and you're going to take each other. That's why you get taken by insane people, because your insanity also wants to take them. So what was your answer? When I said, do you have a feeling of doom, only two answers possible, yes or no. The only honest answer would be yes, of course. If you said no or evaded it, I'm sure glad, I'll answer the question this way, I'm sure glad that it's impossible for a sick society who wants to cram things down your throat. I'm sure glad that it's impossible. See, this should go, you go out of here 3 feet off the ground when I tell you this. Aren't you delighted that no one can invade and take over your mind unless you falsely want them to? Aren't you glad that God, truth, makes your mind a castle where the integrity can dwell, and no one can enter that castle unless you are asleep, you're insane, you're mad, you prefer your sense of doom. No one can enter that. It's sacred, I'm telling you that, but you have to regain the sacredness, so to speak, by understanding that you have given your mind away. You've given your mind out to society, and it mangles it. All right. All lost human beings, whether they are leaders or followers in this world, all satanic human beings, which is almost everybody, live by one rule, and I called it insolence a while back. The rule of sick society is to cram everything down your throat, whether you like it or not. They're going to cram their wars down your throat, whether you want to go to war or not. They're going to cram their propaganda. Love everybody. That's the propaganda of society is to everybody, love everybody. Be kind to everybody. That's a vicious lie, and they'll cram it down your throat, and if you don't accept it, they'll punish you. They'll hate you. They'll make you an outcast. They'll crucify you. You're going to cram it down your throat, and they know that if you fight them back on your present insane level, they have got you. I started out by saying the world is trying to drive you crazy and asking you how it's succeeding. And I followed that up by telling you they want you to continue to go mad even deeper and deeper, because that's how they're going to take over your life. What arrogance on your part, what folly, what delusion, what sickness for you to think you lead your own life. You haven't the slightest notion what it means to lead your own life. Everything bad tells you what to do, and it's bad for you. Anyone can suggest anything to you, and you'll follow it because you're so desperate, because you have no spiritual leadership of your own. They're going to cram everything down your throat that they can get away with, and then they're going to ask you with a sneer on their face, What are you going to do about it? And then you know what they're going to follow that sneer up with? We have the power. Well, of course they have the social power. Of course they have the law in back of them. Of course they have the police in back of them. Of course they have the power, because that's what they live for, and that is what they are going to die from. Let's go into a little different phase of this. I want you to understand. All efforts to fight the enemy from your own egotistical will, from your own human nature, will fail. The enemy not only wants you to fight them, but encourage you to fight them so that you will remain insane. All fighting is insane, and you'll never be able to win over them. Oh, I wish I could express with words what I am seeing as I'm talking to you. You don't have to fight the world that's trying to cram its false values down your throat. You must not battle them. You must not argue. You must not hate them. They want you to hate them, and you do hate them. That's why you're a lost soul. Would you stop worshiping madness, which you are now doing? If you stopped worshiping madness, you would understand what it means to worship God. But you have no idea of either, unfortunately. If you were to cease to worship your own fighting of the social maniacs, if you'd cease to worship your own fighting, incidentally you do it because it gives you a feeling of identity, if you would stop doing that, then you understand what it means to worship God, but not before. See, you're a time thinker. You think, as others do, you think that the world can be changed for the better if we do this or if we do that. The very fact that you thought of the solution means that it's a false one, that it isn't going to work, it never will work. So you have to run out of the solutions that your mind tosses up, because it is deceiving you into thinking that they're real, that they have substance and have value, when they're mere thoughts and the product of delusion at that. As you withdraw from your deceitful nature, your sick self, as you allow God to withdraw you from it, you'll see the absolute uselessness of passing another law to do anything, or of joining a crusade, religious crusades included, to try to save the world. The world doesn't want to be saved. It wants to go to hell, and it gets what it wants. It is getting what it wants at this very second. Read the paper. Look at the faces and the actions of anyone you encounter when you go out of here. Notice the petty squabbling, notice everything, and then be quite assured that you will be accurate in thinking that the world wants to remain as it is in hell, under a sense of doom.